If you are a creative business owner who has an Instagram account for your business, do me a favor. Pull up your phone and go and look at the number of people that you are following. Not the number of people that are following you, but the number of people you are following. And just take that number in. Mine is 1,350. And off the top of my head, a fraction of those people are in my feed, maybe like 100. I'm not very good at estimating numbers, but it's a small fraction of that number I see regularly in my feed. I actually get to read and enjoy their content and engage with it. The rest of them, who knows what they are. The algorithm is algorithming and I just don't see their stuff. So what about you? How many people are you following? And how many of those people do you think you see regularly in your feed? The reason I put this question to you is because every week there is someone in my DMs or in a coaching call with me or in a networking group or something like that who is saying something along the lines of, I'm worried that I'm going to annoy people if I post again about this thing, or I've already talked about this offer 3 times. Should I just stop now? Every time I'm like, no, please don't stop. We need you to keep repeating. But that's the reason why people are not seeing your stuff. You are a drop in the ocean of the people that people are following on Instagram. It's a mouthful. And so the likelihood of every single one of the people that follow you seeing every single thing that you share alongside all the other people that they follow is so slim. I mean, it's slim to none. It's none. There's no chance that that's going to happen. And even if they did see all of that stuff, they are not thinking about you as much as you are thinking about you, okay? They are not scanning your captions with a fine-tooth comb looking for typos or trying to catch you out for contradicting yourself on something you said last week and now you've talked about it differently this week. Not counting up how many times you've mentioned your offer or put a salesy post out. They're just not, because they're busy. They're probably following 1,200 people on Instagram, first of all, but they're also a human with a life outside of social media, right? They are a parent, a sister, a friend, a business owner. They've got different roles in their life and they're busy and they've got stuff on their plate, okay? So your Instagram post where you're repeating for the 4th time that you're available to be hired as a photographer or whatever is fleeting for them. They are not noticing. But also just generally, we have a tendency to move through the world assuming that people are really aware of us and they're paying a lot of close attention to us. And that's because we do that to ourselves, right? Especially as overthinkers, perhaps especially as introverts, we spend a lot of time in our head thinking about how we're perceived, how people are going to react to us, what people might think. And so we can fall into the trap of assuming that other people are doing that to us. But actually what's happening is they are doing that to themselves. And so there's no room in their head to think about you because they're thinking about them. Rejoice. It's such a freeing thing to think about. How liberating is that to imagine that other people are just not noticing half the stuff that you do? And you could take this further. And this is something where I always hesitate to share this because I think it can come off really negative. But for me, as you can see, I'm smiling as I say this. The thing to remember is actually no one cares. No one actually cares what you're doing. And so it doesn't matter. I think one of the things about starting on YouTube for me, and I shared this in my last video about some of the fears that were holding me back were about friends and family seeing my videos. And I was reflecting and I was thinking, actually, I think of all the people out there, they're the least likely to actually see these. I'd be amazed if any of them do see it because I'm not putting it in front of them really. I have a handful of friends and family on my Instagram, so they may see something and they may click on it. It's unlikely because, as I said before, people are busy. They're just getting on with their own life. They aren't in the small business bubble that we are in. So I have to remind myself of that too. I feel like this is one of the reasons that I've been able to break through this barrier that I've had for such a long time in terms of getting on YouTube is this idea of cringe. Like, oh my God, cringe. Why are you starting a YouTube channel? Like, who do you think you are? Some sort of Zoella. Oh my gosh, that's really aging me, right? Is she even still a thing? I didn't used to watch YouTube as a younger person. So she's someone that comes to mind as like a big YouTuber anyway. And so what if people think that? First of all, they're not thinking that because they're not thinking about me at all. But second of all, if they do think that, so what? That has no bearing on my life and the success of my business. My focus is doing what I'm here to do and sharing the work that's meaningful to me. And if that requires me to be a bit cringe, fine. But also for me, when I think about all the things that have had a major impact on my life and that have really moved me and meant something to me, have come from people who have been cringe, right? People making art and making films and making music and making all these amazing things that we're lucky enough to enjoy. Those are putting yourself out there essentially, saying, I'm here, I've made this thing, do you like it? What do you think? When it comes down to it, that's sort of what we're doing as artists and creatives. And people might think that's cringe, but if they didn't do that, imagine how much we'd be deprived of amazing, beautiful art and work and even services that people are offering that we would never have discovered had that person not put themselves out there in a way that is cringe. So I just think the more cringe we can be, the better. The more successful we'll be, the more happy we'll be, the more fulfilled we'll feel. And in order to reach that ability to embrace the cringe, I think we really have to fully believe in our bones that nobody is thinking about us as much as we are thinking about us. I'd love to hear your thoughts. This is a big topic and there's lots in there. There's subtopics I could go into more detail on. So I'll leave that for a future video. But yeah, let's chat in the comments about being cringe, showing up, overthinking how much people are thinking about you. Whatever you picked up on from this video, I'd love to have a conversation about it. Hopefully see you soon on the next video. Thanks, bye.